Hey, welcome to DadRod Garage. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mark, old dad.
And we are promoting an event
Called Street Car Chaos.
and there's already been some controversy. So here we go.
Hey everybody, this is going to be an incredible event coming to you from DadRod Garage and some other sponsors along the way that we'll announce. Street Car Chaos. We're hoping to make this one of the best streetcar events out there. We've got 2 this summer for this season, hopefully more next year on how, we'll see how this goes. But we're super stoked about this. We've got classes for every streetcar possible. We know many of you guys haven't had your cars out in a while, or you haven't had them out racing in a while.
Oh, I'm too slow. No, we got a class for you too.
Yep, and
I screwed you up.
that's where I run it. May 10th, US 41 in Morocco, Indiana. It's easily accessible from many areas. It's a great little track, man. They've been cleaning it up. It's the surface is incredible. Was it new last year or something?
Yeah,
Incredible.
All new concrete last year.
Yeah, so it's going to be an amazing event at a track that is really turning around. We're super excited to see our local hometown track coming around. It's going to be a premier track again.
Prepped event.
Bracket prepped
event.
Yep, so it'll kind of work for just about everybody. You can get your car down this surface.
For sure. Check the link in the description. We have a Facebook private group that you can join to ask questions, post up your ride, etc. We have an event page, and we also have all the rules listed on the event page and our website, and lock-ins are open.
Lock-ins are open at
Lock-ins are open
dadrodgarage.com.
for all classes. If you lock in early, you get a Streetcar Chaos shirt included in your lock-in.
Yes, they'll be available for sale the day of the event. However, if you lock in early, you get one. We set one aside in your size. So you give us your size when you lock in.
Saves you $25.
Yeah, heck, that's cool, man. So we wanted to cover some of the classes and some of the rule sets a little bit.
One mostly, that there's been some controversy around.
Yeah, we're going to clarify a controversy that seems to be, for some reason, some race car guys like to whine and gripe, and you know that. You're a racer, and I'm a racer, and I've griped my fair share.
Oh, most
made
definitely.
made a promoter upset at me.
I have unfortunately made a scene or two as well.
Because we're racers.
Yes.
We're competitive, man, and I get it. So everybody wants to skirt the rules.
Yeah.
What can I get away
That's
with?
how you win.
Yeah.
Gray
so,
area.
So we understand that. But there is a major clarification we want to make, and I'm not doing this typing out on Facebook or email and Messenger and all that junk. We're going to clarify it now, and it's done.
Yep.
So
True Street, probably our longest list of rules. Pretty strict
without a doubt
compared to some of the other ones I've seen, other rule sets I've seen, but I like it.
Well,
I think it's pretty solid.
We're trying to get street cars out of the garage, dude. We're not trying to give race cars a shot to compete in a street car class.
In True Street.
True Street is a street car class. I don't care how other events and promoters have done it.
Nope.
Here's our rule set. Check out our rule set. If your car misses a couple rules, it doesn't qualify for True Street. It's more of a race car.
You get bumped into OG small tire.
Yeah, correct. OG small tire, and we have small tire. So we've got a more unlimited style small tire, as well as OG.
We got the budget small tire, like this Fairmont's going to be. We got an outlaw style, where it's basically tube chassis with quarters. With steel quarters.
Steel roof and quarters.
And then we got the True Street, which is very much this car.
Check out those classes. We've got a couple index classes. We've got power wheels for kids. I think 12 and under get in free.
We've got 2 power wheels classes. And the stock power wheels class is free to sign up. And we are providing 2 power wheels on location, so if your kid does not have a power wheels, they can still come and race.
Correct.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, we kind of said out there, guys are trying to figure out what does you mean by as provided.
Yeah.
We're not providing power wheels for every kid.
We're not giving you power wheels.
And no. There will be 2 there for those kids who don't have them, who can also join in the fun and have fun racing.
It is encouraged that if your kid does have a stock Power Wheels, to come in, enter the class. It's free. Just
bring
your kids' Power Wheels.
We can't have 100 kids running just our 2 Power Wheels.
Yes, they will die. And then we have a modified class. So if you did a battery swap or a motor swap,
gear change,
anything like that, you can run in that.
Put some rubber on the tires. tires, whatever. It's for fun, guys. It's for fun.
Yes.
But we know how competitive everyone is, and so we're just trying to clarify some rules today.
Yep.
Particularly True Street. And we're going to use these two cars we have in the shop right now as example of the issue that we're running into.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about the controversy, or do you want me to start out talking about the
You've been more
controversy?
involved in the controversy.
All right, then
than
what
I
I'm going
have.
to do is I'm going to flip this around and hand it off to you.
All right.
So we've got a controversy about tube front ends. And I want to read to you what the rule says in True Street. There's a list of rules. And the rule, what it says concerning tube front ends is exactly this. This is the verbiage. Tube front ends allowed at the strut shock tower and forward. So we want to clarify that. If we have to add a little language in here, we will. We didn't think we'd have to clarify it. We thought it was pretty sufficient. But if we have to change the verbiage a little bit, we will. So a tube front end being allowed at the strut shock tower and forward means you can cut, this is a Fox body, means you can cut this entire front end off this car and run a tube front end. Plate it here, plate it here, plate it at the nose of the frame here, the stub, and come around. That's a tube front end. We have no issue with that in True Street whatsoever. So that's what you could do with your front end. You can have a tube front end. Where the controversy has stemmed is we had someone on our Facebook page send us a photo.
Do you want to show it on that strut tower?
Yeah, let's show it on this one here, and I'll come stand behind it. So here's your tube front end. It's very common, as many of you know who are in the race world, to either plate it here or plate it here and run a tube front end on these Fox bodies. We have no problem with that on Fox bodies, 4th gens, any car that's set up like this. Cut it. But we had somebody post a picture. They have a full roll cage. They have their pillar bars that come down. Then they have a bay bar. They cut out all this. They run a bay bar across, just right on the edge of the front strut tower, and come down and fortify or reinforce the front frame rail. They didn't tube the front end. They still have a stock frame rail, which is cool. We don't require stock frame rail up here. We do require stock frame rail here. So if you cut all this out, your car does not qualify for True Street. If you cut out your strut tower, your car does not qualify for True Street. Okay? If the strut tower is in place, the entire strut tower, I couldn't care less about cutting this sheet metal out of this car. It doesn't bother us at all if this is missing. You didn't tube this to replace this. How do I say that? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't care about strengthening. The whole tower's here. If you've cut all this out, even though you have a factory frame rail here, and you're just using the upper mount, the factory upper mount, and you fill this in, and you weld in a different strut mount location, a cup, then no, this is not, that is not a stock strut tower, okay? I don't care about this piece of sheet metal right here. I don't care about this little bit of sheet metal here. If a guy strengthens his car and causes it to be safer by running a bar through here, as long as he has his whole strut tower. Am I saying that all right, Bub?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
We can even clarify the rule and say factory strut tower.
I mean,
Period.
It says at the strut shock tower forward. Yeah, we'll put factory in there.
Yeah.
We want to see a whole factory tower.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah.
If somebody cut all this out,
Yep.
even leaving just the mount and fortified this with bars,
Right.
does that car,
No, because
can it be put in True Street? That's the controversy. That's the question. If they cut the whole entire strut tower out.
No, that's not. Because if they're doing that, they might as well cut the top of the factory strut tower out and put a cup in a bar.
Right. Just well, they're trying to get technical around this. Strut. This plate here is sheet metal to hold your mount.
Yeah.
That's not the strut tower. This is the strut tower.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
This little plate is not a strut tower. So I've harped on that enough. That's where we're at on the rule set. We'll clarify it in here. I have no problem if that little sheet metal's out, and I believe the team feels the same way. I know Brandon does as well. So let's take a look at a 4th gen. 4th gen Camaro, very similar. Obviously a little heavier, a lot larger of a strut tower on this car, but this is your strut tower right here. It comes down to the frame. So you can cut everything out of this car forward of this strut tower, okay? If you remove the tower, then you do not fit the True Street rules. If you leave the tower in place, you fit the True Street rules. You're not allowed to cut any of the frame rail or the tower behind. But this little bit of sheet metal here, that's, I mean, you have a power brake booster, so it's kind of hard to see, but this sheet metal under here is what, a half a pound of sheet metal. I'm not concerned about that at all.
No.
Not at all. So hopefully that clarifies that rule set a little bit. We will reword it a tiny bit in here, but this has to be in place. What about a guy that's got a 4th gen and he's got a bay bar that comes through here and turns, he tubed the front end and he ties that bay bar into that tube front end. Is he allowed to cut this metal here and tie that strut tower into this bar as long as he has the tower in place?
I'd say so, yeah.
Same as the Fox body.
Yeah.
So any car that's set up similar to this, you're allowed to weld that strut tower to a bar. No problem with that whatsoever. And cut out that pound of sheet metal or whatever it is. But if you're
gain some access.
And gain access, easier to work on.
But, yeah.
But a street car is going to have a shock tower. What we're calling True Street,
right,
going to have a shock tower. If your shock tower is gone and you've got just a plate here, you're in OG.
Yep.
You're not in True Street. So all the other rules I think are pretty.
That's assuming the car fits the rest of the rules too.
Correct. A photo that someone sent us, it doesn't fit many rules in True Street.
From what we can tell.
But he was asking about the particular strut tower.
Yeah.
We're defining strut tower versus strut mount. So yeah, your True Street car has to fit all the rest of the True Street rules. Hopefully that clarifies a little bit of what we're discussing when it comes to strut towers and tube front ends. I don't want to cause any controversy. Brandon and I are not going to roll over for every little issue that comes along. We will be drawing lines. We're going to run pretty tight ship and a pretty tight rule set. We're very excited. We've had a lot of racers telling us that they're really excited about this event. They could tell exactly what we're trying to do with the street car stuff. Guys, we just want to get street cars back out. We don't want a whole bunch of controversy. We don't want fights and issues and all that kind of stuff. We want to have a freaking blast. We know we're all competitive. We know some of you are going to skirt the rules a little bit. We get that. We understand it. And we're racers, so we're willing to engage. But we are going to draw a line at a certain point, and this is what it's going to be. And I don't need a whole bunch of arguments and spend a half hour arguing about one little thing. We're just not interested in that. That's not the purpose of any of this. Yeah. So I'm not going to have sleepless nights over this.
I don't know if we said it earlier in the video, but a lot of these classes, well, one of the classes in particular, we have to run like a qualifying. So everybody is going to get at least one. We're shooting for two test passes depending on the time. So this isn't going to be like an off the trailer. So say you get bumped into OG, and sorry, but it is what it is. You're still going to get probably 3 passes.
Our goal is 2 qualifiers.
Yes, 2 qualifiers and then 1 elimination. Right. So like at least you're not just donating to the pot and not getting anything out of it. Like the minimum you're going to receive is still 3 passes.
3 passes
at an event. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's going to work out great. Clarify that a little bit too. The qualifiers, like that's for wide open class. For all the other classes, those 2 passes are test passes.
Yes.
For wide open class, like let's say you got a 12-second car and you're like, holy crap, I quit racing my car because the last 5-6 years I'm getting run over.
Right.
Well, come on out. Jump in the wide open class. That all that means is throttle wide open.
Yes.
And go run the class, have fun, run a couple qualifiers. You're going to get a couple time slips, okay? Those qualifiers are probably going to be run NT. No time. We're not 100% sure about all that, but I'm 90% sure.
I'm leaning towards, sorry.
Go ahead, no, jump in.
I'm leaning towards all the classes being clocks on with scoreboards, except for the small tire classes. So OG small tire and OG outlaw, you will still get a time slip, but the clocks, the scoreboards will be off, so nobody will be seeing your time.
Yes. But our goal is to get not only street cars out, but to get spectators out and families out and kids
spectators
out.
Like
they want clocks on. Yeah. And I know the no prep world and this recent movement the last 10 years has been all no times, and I got to hide my times. Well, you know what?
I think we're going to see a radial clocks on wave come.
I agree.
Into the field.
Some guys are arguing, but we have been to some meetings with some promoters and track owners, and that's kind of the wave of the future and what's happening.
We think so.
We know some guys don't want to show their times.
But we understand that some of these local guys for small tire don't want to show their times. So we are going to oblige. Clocks will be off for the two small tire classes.
So if you're in True Street and you want clocks off, you're jumping to OG.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it then. So, and there's some fast True Street cars
for sure.
that can hang with OG. There's no doubt.
Most True Street guys I know are willing to show clocks.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, it's going to be a blast.
The only people who don't know how fast you're going are the spectators. All the racers either share times with their buddies and other racers or don't care.
Or we have a dang good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly.
The only people suffering by clocks off is spectators, in my opinion. But
we want to put seats back in bleachers so that tracks can stay open. We want to keep tracks going.
Spectators got to show up.
Yep.
So I don't know if you mentioned it earlier either, but we're going to have like bouncy houses.
Yeah, for the kids. I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a bouncy house there for the kids.
Maybe some carnival games.
And maybe some carnival games along with the Power Wheels races for kids under 12, so 12 and under.
Yep.
Which are also free.
Yeah. And if you want to grudge, we're going to make availability for that too through that wide open. So if you want to just come out and grudge, that's cool too. Jump into wide open. But now with wide open, we were talking about wide open. You get a couple time slips. We're going to pair you to other cars that are within X amount of tenths of your car.
Yes.
So if you got a 12-second car, you want to race guys that are around that 12-second mark, we're going to pair you with those guys.
Yes.
Now, if we're going to run eliminations for wide open, we may get down to a point where there's a 13-second car against a 12-second car. Then what's cool is you negotiate your race.
Yep.
Just like the old Pinks All Out stuff. Just bring back the negotiations. And if you're in the staging lanes, and you're walking down eliminations and you're paired up with a car that's a second off of you, negotiate with that driver. If you're unable to negotiate with that other driver, then when you pull up to the water box, guess what?
On the mic.
On the
in
mic.
Front of
mic on, we're walking up to you just like the old Pinks days, and we're going to negotiate your race along with you. We're going to make a final call and y'all are going to run.
And we're going to get the spectators a show.
Yep, you got it. So it's going to be a blast, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Guys, there might be some hiccups along the way. Forgive us for the hiccups, but we're no rookies. We know that we moved back from Florida. We've been in Indiana for years. We went down to Florida for a few years. We're back in Indiana. A lot of guys don't know us. A lot of guys don't know that we used to hang out at US 41. A lot of guys don't know us on the streets around here because we've been gone for 10 years. But guess what? We're back. We're around. You'll get to know us. Man, we want to be super cool with you guys. I think we're super cool. I've met a lot of you guys. I just talked to somebody at my house last night buying a part. Picking up a part, and you guys are super cool. We're happy, man. We're excited to get to know you better, hang out, help each other. Brandon and I are all about advancing the sport. Are we competitive? Heck yeah, we're competitive.
I'm gonna drive over your life.
I hate to lose, and I'm gonna push it when I can. And Brandon thinks I push it too much. I'm the old guy. My car's going a lot faster than we ever intended.
He's the ornery old guy.
But we understand the racer world. We get it. But when it comes down to it, we want to be super cool, super relational. But when we hit that water box, it's on, buddy. It's on. So we get it.
I've been nice in the past, and I'm no longer being nice.
You've been way too nice. You've gotten run over on a light because you've been so nice. I'm standing there going, no, Brandon.
But anyways, all right, this video's gone on long enough.
Yeah, we've rambled.
Our Rambletron about True Street.
We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for watching. Check the links in the description for event information, lock-in information. If you want to support us and help this content keep coming, buy a hoodie or a car heads.
Please.
I need to make some so I can show you. Check out the website. Hoodies are 25% off right now, so are car heads. So thank you guys for watching.